For a whole generation, he was the face of teen angst, the sensitive kid from the creek. But the story of James Van Der Beek, it's so much more than just one famous role. It's really a story about fighting a persona, completely reinventing himself with humor, and then ultimately facing life's absolute toughest challenges with just incredible courage. His journey is this powerful lesson in resilience and really the search for an authentic life.
We're going to start right here with this incredibly deep reflection from the man himself. It really sets the stage for a story that isn't just about Hollywood or being famous. It's about a search for worth, for meaning, and for peace, especially when you're staring mortality right in the face.
But to understand how he ever got to that profound place, we have to go back, way back, to the very beginning, to the role that made him a household name, and ironically, an image he would spend years trying to escape. It's that classic Hollywood story, right? The dream role that slowly turns into a gilded cage. So this is a 20-year-old James Van Der Beek. This is just 2 months before Dawson's Creek even premiered. He is right on the edge of his entire life changing, but he has no idea yet. You can see that raw energy, that innocence, and it would very soon be replaced by the immense pressure of global fame. And that change happens so fast. Look at this. He'd been a working actor since he was 16, but Dawson's Creek just launched him into another stratosphere. In just 1 year, he goes from being a college dropout to a household name, walking the red carpet at the Emmys. It was an absolute whirlwind that would define the entire next chapter of his life. And this is the central conflict of his early career. He achieved what every young actor dreams of, a hit show, worldwide recognition, but it came with a huge price tag. The world saw him as Dawson Leary. And for an actor who wanted to explore all these different sides of himself, that became a trap. So almost as soon as he was crowned a teen heartthrob, he began this long, very deliberate process of trying to break out of that box. This next chapter of his life was all about proving he was way more than just the kid from the creek. And this right here perfectly illustrates his first big move. While he's still playing the sensitive, wordy Dawson on TV, he takes the role of Mox in Varsity Blues. He put on 10 pounds of muscle and completely transformed into this rebellious, tough-as-nails Texas quarterback. It was the total opposite of Dawson, and that was exactly the point. This line from the film is so iconic, but it almost feels like it could have been coming from Van Der Beek himself, doesn't it? It's a declaration of independence. Mox didn't want the life his coach had all mapped out for him, and James didn't want the life that Hollywood had planned for him either.
And he just kept pushing. He played a college drug dealer in The Rules of Attraction, a post-Civil War ranger. But the whole time, he had to keep going back to Dawson's Creek. He's even talked about how frustrating it was having to shave off his facial hair, dye his hair back to blonde, and just look in the mirror and see Dawson staring back at him. By the time those 6 years were up, he was completely burned out.
So after all those years of fighting his own image, he was at a real crossroads. He could either keep struggling against his past, or he could find a totally new way to deal with it. He chose the second option, and in doing so, he stumbled upon this brilliant new strategy: humor. This was the beginning of his comedic reinvention. This is the perfect example. On the show Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, he played this fictionalized, completely over-the-top, egotistical version of himself. He just leaned into the absurdity of his own fame, and by doing that, he took control of the narrative for the first time. He wasn't the victim of his image anymore. He was the one telling the joke. And it really became his thing. He played a washed-up Canadian pop star on How I Met Your Mother. He did this brilliant parody of the DJ Diplo. Through sketches on SNL and Funny or Die, he was constantly finding new ways to poke fun at the very thing that used to define him. The joke was no longer on him, he was in on it. Okay, so while he's publicly reinventing his career, his private life was going through an even bigger transformation. The roles of husband and father, well, they became the most important ones he would ever play, and they would bring him both incredible joy and unimaginable pain. 6. That's the number of children he and his wife, Kimberly, would eventually welcome into their family. And that number, it represents not just immense joy, but a really deep commitment to building a life that was far away from the Hollywood spotlight. But their journey to building that family was just filled with so much sorrow. And he revealed this incredible vulnerability on a national stage while he was on Dancing with the Stars in 2019, sharing that they had just lost a baby. It was just this raw, heartbreaking moment of honesty that really connected with millions of people. And the hardships just kept coming. Just 8 months after that public loss, his mother passed away. Then the pandemic hit. This pileup of loss really forced him to reevaluate everything, to search for a different way of life. So he packed up his family and left Los Angeles for a 36-acre ranch in Texas, just looking for some peace and a new beginning. But just as he was building this new, quiet life, he got news that would test his resilience in a way he never,
ever could have imagined. He was about to face a battle for his own life, a fight he would wage in private with just immense bravery. In 2023, he received the devastating diagnosis, stage 3 colorectal cancer. And for more than a year, he and his family dealt with this completely privately, navigating treatments and fear away from the public eye. That is, until a tabloid threatened to make his story public, which forced him to share it on his own terms. And this right here, this just cuts to the absolute heart of what the disease took from him. It wasn't about the career or the fame. The most painful part was the toll it took on his ability to just be a dad. This was his deepest fear come to life, not being able to be there for his children in the simplest, most fundamental ways.
In the face of that fear, he found strength in his family and in his faith. And in this really poignant, full-circle moment, he actually sold memorabilia from Varsity Blues, the very film that helped him break away from his old image, to help fund his fight for survival. It's just a testament to his humility and his unwavering focus on what truly matters.
And yet, through that terrifying journey, he found something totally unexpected. He discovered that by confronting his own mortality head-on, he found a sense of peace. The worst thing he could imagine was happening, and on the other side of that fear, he found not just survival, but this profound sense of relief and a whole new appreciation for life.
And so we're left with this question. James Van Der Beek's life is this powerful reminder that the most important role any of us will ever play is just ourselves. He fought to define himself as an artist, he embraced fatherhood, and he faced death with grace. His story isn't just about being Dawson, it's about the relentless, often messy, but ultimately beautiful pursuit of an authentic life. And it kind of challenges all of us to ask ourselves, what does it really mean to live a life that's true to your own heart?